Thanks so much for sitting down. Very exciting for me personally, but I just got a few questions for you. So my first one would be, what is one thing that people don't realise about you as a Formula One driver?
This fan request left Max Verstappen speechless. You need to see this.
That's a very good question. I don't know.
It could be about you as a driver or just you as a person.
Very good question. I honestly don't know how to answer that.
I've got you stumped.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
That's okay. What is the weirdest thing a fan has ever asked you?
Well, I mean, like something that I thought was very weird was that to sign in someone's password, but of course if it's expired it's fine, right? But otherwise it's a bit odd.
Yeah, just a bit random.
Yeah.
Can you describe Max Verstappen in 3 words?
I always prefer other people to do that because about yourself is always very hard to describe yourself in 3 words, I think.
This moment really highlights how Max keeps things simple and grounded, even in interviews. He doesn't try to craft a persona or overthink his image. What you see is what you get, and that authenticity is why fans connect with him.
Can you describe yourself in a single word?
Relax.
Great. If you could race only one F1 track for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Spa in Belgium, yeah.
And I know you love cats, I do as well. So what would be your favourite cat breed?
Oh, well, it depends. I mean, there are so many different ones, right? So, I mean, I got Bengals, and then I got also British short hair. And they are just very different. And I think that is also really fun to just see the difference in them. Because the Bengals, I think they look really cool. They're a bit more on their, like by themselves. Like they come to you when they want to.
Yeah.
Where the British short hair is, I would say more like half dog, half cat. So he is definitely like hanging around me a lot more. But then actually seeing the two, or like the Bengal and the British short hair, like interact to each other because they're very different, is very funny.
It's no surprise he picked Spa. This is a track that rewards bravery, precision, and sheer driving instinct. All qualities Max has in abundance. His connection to the circuit runs deep, from childhood karting memories to his breathtaking wins in F1. It's a place where Verstappen magic always seems to happen.
I've got ragdolls, so they're kind of like little dogs as well.
Yeah.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It's tough because I can't choose between like a beef carpaccio or like a tomato soup.
Well, I mean, both of those are great options, right?
Yeah.
And if a documentary was made about you, what would the title be? I'm really putting you on the spot with these questions.
Yeah, it's like stuff that I've never really thought about. I don't know. I need to think about that a bit more.
Okay, we can come back to that. And what's one thing outside of racing that you're super competitive about?
Paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've recently started playing. It's fantastic.
I love it. Yeah, it's good, but of course it's still not nice to lose. But to get better, you have to lose.
Absolutely.
Beef carpaccio or tomato soup. 2 completely different choices, but it's a perfect reflection of Max's personality. On one hand, he thrives on precision and technical excellence, just like a perfectly crafted dish. On the other, he appreciates simplicity and reliability, which are just as important on track. Isn't that exactly what makes him such a well-rounded driver? The ability to be aggressive when needed, but also measured and strategic when the moment calls for it.
Okay, now I've got a few quick-fire questions. So, dream track to race on that's not in F1 currently?
Well, I mean, we've raced on it once, but Mugello.
And your favourite corner on the F1 calendar?
Favorite corner? Well, a corner that I think is really cool is Pouhon at Spa.
Do we want to stop?
We've got the alarm. Alarm going off. Fire alarm.
I mean, we can keep going. Do you prefer wet or dry conditions during a race?
Well, in general, I would always prefer dry because the F1 car really comes alive in the dry.
Yeah.
But I also like driving in the wet, so it's like just a bit of
Everything works for you?
Yeah, it's fine, whatever.
And one thing you always pack for a race weekend?
Underwear.
And overtake or pole?
Well, if it's an overtake for the win,
Yeah.
I would take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was, overtake. There we go.
Yeah.
And that's all my questions.
And I think now we have to evacuate
And
the
now we have
building.
to evacuate the building
Yeah.
because the alarm has just decided
Yeah.
to go off. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you
No
so
worries.
much. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Max's response to wet versus dry conditions speaks volumes about his adaptability. Most drivers have a clear preference. Some are rain specialists who excel when grip is low, while others need a dry, predictable track to extract the most from their car. But Max, he doesn't just cope with changing conditions, he thrives in them. His mindset isn't about favoring one scenario over another. It's about mastering every scenario. That's the mentality that makes him such a formidable force in Formula One, a driver who is just as dangerous on a bone-dry circuit as he is in torrential rain. Think back to Brazil 2016, one of the greatest wet weather performances in F1 history. That wasn't just a good drive, that was a statement. He was flying past seasoned world champions, finding grip in places no one else could. He made over 10 overtakes in just a few laps, pushing the car to the absolute limit while everyone else was struggling to keep it on track. And let's not forget that save, drifting at high speed, on the edge of disaster, only to recover like it was nothing. That kind of car control is rare, almost instinctive, and it's what makes him so special in tricky conditions. But what makes Max even scarier for his competition is that he's just as untouchable in the dry. We've seen it in places like Monza, where outright speed and precision are the key to victory, and in Suzuka, where commitment through high-speed corners separates the great from the good. In those races, he doesn't just win, he dominates. He controls the pace, manages the tires to perfection, and executes every strategy flawlessly. There's no uncertainty, no hesitation. He understands his car, the conditions, and the race better than almost anyone else on the grid. And this isn't just about speed, it's about confidence. While other drivers worry about how the conditions will affect their car balance, Max adapts in real time. He has an innate ability to sense where the grip is, how to extract performance without overstepping the limit, and when to push harder than anyone else would dare. That's why, when the weather changes mid-race, Red Bull doesn't panic. They know that with Max behind the wheel, they have the ultimate weapon, someone who doesn't need perfect conditions to be perfect himself. His rivals know this, and that's why they fear him. There is no scenario where Max Verstappen is out of the fight. Whether it's an unpredictable crossover from wet to dry, an intense tire management race, or an all-out speed battle, he finds a way to come out on top. When others are uncertain, he's decisive. When others hesitate, he attacks. And when others struggle, he shines. That's the mark of a generational talent, someone who isn't just fast, but untouchable. Rain or shine, Max Verstappen is inevitable,